Hello, everybody. My name is ideologies 2009, and today we're back with World War III to the Cold War. The war will rage on, and maybe even end now. If you're wondering why I'm taking a hiatus, it's because, it's because I am kind of not feeling too well. I actually have a cold because I had a stuffy nose. Let's go. Okay, the first thing that's gonna happen is that the Soviets will make a last-ditch counteroffensive to kick them out of Rome. The Soviets are getting desperate. They will then take back the Peloponnese, but the Greeks have reinforced Athens and will push back. The Soviets will push Iran deeper in the city. The Americans will push into Spain. Liberating Madrid and reinstating the Spanish government and starting the Spanish Civil War. The Spanish People's Republic will absorb all the other countries in Spain, and the Civil War will start. Burgos will be taken. Now, on the Italian front, Rome will be encircled again, and will actually fall, with the Vatican being reinstated. There they are. They're an atom compared to Italy. The Greeks will push the people back, and the Soviets will continue to push deeper into Anatolia because the fronts have fallen. Yeah. Ankara will fall, and Turkey will surrender, and they will become a communist puppet state. The People's Socialist Republic of Turkey. Turkey is Turkish for Turkey. Just like Italy. Okay. Now, on the Siberian front, the landings will expand. Yeah. Now the Americans will invade Normandy again. Along with British and Canadians, they will storm the beaches of Normandy. And Paris will be liberated. And they will reinstate the French, and they will reinstate Free France. This will cause the Italians to rebel in Milan. And they will take Corsica and Tunisia. The Free French will rebel in Aquitaine and Brittany. And the French are back. They will send aid to the Spanish front. And Barcelona will get captured, leading Spain to fall. Italy will also follow suit. And they will be awarded with Gibraltar. They're back. The Swiss will push the Germans back in the mountains. The Danes will push them out of Lapland, out of Schleswig-Holstein, and the French will continue pushing them back. Yeah. The Greeks will land in Anatolia, looking to liberate the country. And yeah. With the fall of Sofia, the first Warsaw Pact member will surrender. The first Warsaw Pact member to surrender is Bulgaria. They will switch sides and will join NATO. The Italians will also make Albania surrender, and they will give it to Greece. Southern Albania to Greece, northern Albania to Italy. The French will make an attack into the Rhine. As the Dutch will rebel in Amsterdam. Belgium will gain independence. Yeah. And Germany will be liberated. Here's the Germans' liberation zone. They will also launch uprisings in Bavaria, more specifically Munich. And the Bavarians will connect to the Germans at Frankfurt. The Germans will also storm into Austria. And then the German Civil War has commenced. Berlin has fallen and Germany is now back. Bulgaria will invade Romania and will push into Yugoslavia. The Bosnians will start a rebellion. Slovenia will also rebel. Croatia will join suit. And Yugoslavia is way smaller now. Yeah. After the fall of Ankara to the Greeks, Turkey will switch sides. Yeah. But Greece will still gain Constantinople and Cyprus. Egypt will leave the war. Yeah, they've left the war. The Polish uprising will happen in Warsaw. The Polish upper underground resistance will rise up in Warsaw. And the Germans will gain their pre-World War II territories in Poland. Another Warsaw Pact member has fallen. And with the fall of Bucharest, Romania will also fall. Yeah. They will hatch a plan to encircle the Soviet troops in Czechoslovakia and Hungary. The plan will be enacted. And a large number of Soviet troops are encircled in Czechoslovakia, Hungary, and Yugoslavia. Montenegro will also fall. Vojvodina will also gain independence. Kosovo will get independence, and Yugoslavia will die and will be replaced by Serbia. Yeah. Not looking good for the Warsaw Pact. Germany will not annex the Soviet Union. But instead, they will focus on the Northern Front. Sweden will push back Lapland and will take parts of Finland. They will land in Finland. And Helsinki will be liberated. Finland will be reborn. Finland's back. And the Soviets will annex the Finland. Starting... Yeah. Now they're going to focus on destroying the Warsaw Pact forces in Hungary and Czechoslovakia. They will push into the Sudetenland, and Czechia will be liberated, leaving Slovakia on their own, and as a socialist republic. Yeah, the Warsaw Pact is effectively doomed. Hungary will also become independent after a coup, becoming the last formal Warsaw Pact member state to leave. Yeah. Czechoslovakia will also gain the rest. The Polish will start invading. The Germans will annex Memel, as Finland will push into there and will retake Karelia and Murmansk. This would leave Leningrad completely out in the open. The Turks would also push. Yeah. Iran will also push the Soviets back out of Tehran. The Finns will land in Estonia, and they will be liberated. Lithuania will also be liberated. The Estonians and Poles will encircle the Soviet forces in Latvia, creating the Courland Pocket. The Courland Pocket falls and Latvia will get independence. Yeah. The Soviets will try a last-ditch counteroffensive to retake Warsaw. And this actually works. But now they have half the world against them. The United States will launch an invasion of China, reclaiming Taiwan. Yeah. Beijing, Shanghai, Wuhan, and Nanjing will get nuked. But the Chinese still won't surrender. The Americans will nuke St. Petersburg, Moscow, and Volgograd. Also Baku. But they wouldn't surrender. Then the Chinese would get pushed back. And the Americans would land in Korea. Liberating Seoul. And pushing into Korea and taking Pyongyang and making North Korea surrender. The Japanese will annex their government in exile. Now the war is not looking too good for the Soviets. It's basically just game over for the Soviets. As the Poles annex Galicia, Ukraine would start a rebellion. The main rebellion place would be in Kiev and Donetsk, and also Crimea. Odessa would fall, cutting off a major port in the Black Sea. And the rebellions would succeed in liberating the country. Ukraine is back. As the Ukrainians would continue the attack. Okay. The Latvians and Ukrainians would encircle Belarus. Yeah. And the war will be ended. A lot of people have been encircled in the Caucasus, as Estonian and Finnish forces would push into Leningrad. And Leningrad would fall. Yeah. The pocket would continue to get squeezed in on by forces. NATO forces. Eventually, Minsk would fall. Armenia would gain independence. Azerbaijan would get independence. Chechnya will get independence. Georgia will gain independence. Yeah. NATO forces will push into China. And they would encircle the atom-bombed remains of Beijing, which is now just rubble. Yeah. East Turkestan would rebel against the Chinese. Yeah, China's pretty much done for. India would also join the war to get Tibet. The Koreans would take the Qingdao Peninsula, or the Shandong Peninsula, as they continue fighting in the atom bomb remains of Shanghai and Nanjing. They will also encircle Wuhan, and China would surrender. Finally, that would take a huge weight off the American shoulders, as they can focus all their might on the Soviets. Moscow would fall to Ukrainian forces. As the Americans would invade Mongolia, taking Ulaanbaatar and switching their regime. The Mongols will have some land. Volgograd will fall. Kazakhstanis would rebel in Almaty. Yeah. These Kazakhstanis will conduct raids on the Trans-Siberian Railway. Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan will also gain independence, because the Soviets cannot hold on to them for long. Yeah. The Soviets will basically continue to be pushed back. And Omsk will fall, leading for the final nail in the coffin to surrender for the Soviets, as they finally surrender. And in the peace negotiations, that will be for another time. And, alright guys, that's going to end off this video. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to notifications. I know I'm being a very hiatus, and I will try to make videos for more often. Bye!